Stay tuned for tips and techniques from the nation's top chefs in the Chef's Kitchen.
We are back with Chef John Gallagher of Philadelphia's Restaurant School. Great to have you here,
Hi,
John.
nice to see you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. You too.
I love what we're doing today. It's very festive.
It's very festive. It's an item that I've been making for years for my family, and we sell a tremendous amount of them at the restaurant school at Walnut Hill College. It's a big seller, and it's a fantastic dessert to have around the table.
What do you call it?
It's a holiday Christmas tree.
Okay.
We put several decorations on it to bring the holiday theme into it, and we also put a little decoration on it in order to make it look a little fancier.
It's great. Is it meringue or is it cookie dough?
No, they're actually small cookies. They're almond cookies. Lightly baked, very soft, very tender, and then they're iced individually so they come together and give you all the color that you need.
Beautiful. So why don't you show us how you do it?
All right. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take some almonds. I'm going to put them into a food processor. The sugar actually helps to absorb some of the oil that you're used for grinding. It's just going to grind it down a little bit. It won't get gummy. You don't want to let it run that long.
You're not making almond paste.
No, not at all, not at all. In fact, that's about all you'll mix it. With the batter, we're using a combination of butter, and I use a trans fat-free shortening. I'm going to take the butter and put it into my mixer. Now I want to make sure that my butter is a little bit more room temperature than cold, because this way when you cream it with the sugar, you get more of an emulsification. You want to incorporate a lot of air into it and get it nice and light and fluffy.
Okay.
So I'll put these two together.
The shortening and the butter.
Shortening in the butter, and the other half of my sugar will go in there.
It smells so good. I think I'm smelling almond
extract. If you could pour that in.
There you go.
And then we'll lower down our machine and turn it on. So we'll let that mix, and in the meantime I have my other ingredients. I have my vanilla extract, my almond extract, a little bit of salt, all right, and I'm even going to put that in right now because I always forget the salt.
And you've got to put some salt in, it helps bring out the other flavors.
While it's creaming, I'll go ahead and gently pour in my extracts.
Almond and vanilla?
Almond and vanilla. You don't want to pour them in really quickly because otherwise they splash back at you. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my almond sugar mixture to it. I'm going to try and do this neatly.
Can I help?
Sure. What we're going to do is just turn this down a little bit, and you'll just drizzle it into the mixer itself.
Slowly?
Yes.
More?
Yes. 1 egg
Great.
will be added. Again, to help with the emulsification. And then my flour.
All-purpose flour?
Actually, I use a pastry flour. Now,
Okay.
pastry flour is available at most supermarkets.
Yes.
You do have to do a little digging, but it is available.
And by mail order if you can't find it in the supermarket or specialty
Exactly,
store.
exactly. If you do use something like an all-purpose or something like that, you want to actually cut down your flour a little bit less, say about by a quarter of the recipe.
Okay.
Because again, otherwise it gets too stiff. The
Pastry flour is more tender.
More tender because there's less gluten in it. With less gluten in it, you'll get a softer cake, a softer cookie, whatever have you. I've put my flour in. I'm just going to briefly mix it until it picks up. And then the batter is done. We're using a set of pans. These are called Kronsen cake pans. Traditionally, they're used for Norwegian wedding cakes. And what I do is I take the bag and I just pipe the batter into the bag, into the molds, all the way around. All right, and I would just pipe these in, get them all filled up, and then we're ready to go into the oven.
Great.
We've let them bake in a 375 oven for about 25 minutes. This is the tricky part. You have to look at the rings and you have to figure out which is the largest one. Because we're going to start at the base with our largest ring and move our way up.
You don't want a tree that goes like this. Well, you could sort of make a Christmas tree kind of thing.
What I've done is, as soon as they come out of the oven, I'll run a paring knife around them to separate the cookies so that way they're nice.
They're each so hollow. I didn't realize looking at that there was so much space inside.
And traditionally what happens is you put a bottle of champagne inside of the rings.
That's great. Is that like a gift for the last people that eat it? Or you pour the champagne as people eat it?
The tradition is, no, you start to eat the cookies, and when you get down to the last cookies, the guests open up the bottle of champagne.
Well, that's a great idea.
Now, I'm taking an icing here. Now, normally I would use fondant icing. But for the home use, what I usually tell people is to just take a little bit of powdered sugar, add some milk to it, and get the consistency of the icing so that you can pipe it. As I said, when they come out of the oven, you want to make sure that you run a paring knife around inside the ring so that way the cookies release. And then what I'm going to do is I'll just keep alternating the cookies and piping on them just like this. And what it does is it acts as the glue for the tree itself. And
Beautiful.
the tree, when it's finished, you have all of your descending sizes all the way up to the top, and it can be decorated with ribbons, bows, anything you like. It's not bad.
Very good.
You just gotta stay away from them.
Happy holidays.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To see today's recipe and all of the recipes featured on the Chef's Kitchen, log on to chefskitchen.tv.